happy. What's up, y'all? It's the White Magical Tiger, the undercover hippie evangelist. So one really popular dude here. I don't want to say it too loudly. Say it later.
Other patient also used to shoot, take this injection.
Namaste, y'all. It's the White Magical Tiger, the undercover hippie evangelist. You can kind of tell where I'm going at with this video. The Dalai Lama, I think he's a false idol, straight up. Where I am right now, I'm in Dharamsala, India, specifically the town of Dharamkot, and almost every building has a photo of this dude, and to me it's a false idolatry, false worship, and look what he's pushing. He's pushing the jab, he's pushing the hokey pokey, and for those who know and have eyes to see and the ears to hear, they know it's evil. It's a prelude to the mark of the beast, if not the actual mark of the beast. And yeah, he's just, as far as I know, just a political stooge, and he's pushing the poison. And then there's another clip, check out this one. Many of y'all have seen this, but it's extremely inappropriate. He's kissing a little boy, and then he's gonna stick out his tongue and saying, "Suck my tongue." Dude, this guy, as far as I know, is a straight up pedophile.
And suck my tongue.
The Mahayana tradition that the Dalai Lama teaches is a corruption of the Buddhist teachings, whereas the Dalai Lama claims that what he teaches is higher than our Theravada tradition. So this is the way it is. This is just the Buddhist political scene, and most people are pretty polite about it. Certainly as an individual, the Dalai Lama, he's a nice guy, of course. He's got a good sense of humor. He's polite. I mean, everybody likes him. I like him too. In the West, he's the most popular religious figure. In fact, in the entire world, I think the Dalai Lama is the single most popular religious figure in the entire world, even more so than the Pope. So let me show you another part of the temple. And politically, the problem that we have with the Dalai Lama, I'll quote Miguel Sereno. Miguel Sereno is a great Chilean diplomat, and he said that the Dalai Lama is a prisoner of the globalists and a tool of the international Jews. Miguel Sereno was the only Westerner there to greet the Dalai Lama when he left Tibet. Came to India in 1959. A group of people met him. Miguel Sereno was the only Westerner there. He met him again in 1985, went to Indira Gandhi's funeral, and he talked. But Miguel Sereno recognized the Dalai Lama. He's been pretty much taken over by the globalists, and he's a tool of the international Jews. So what that means politically is the Dalai Lama, he's part of the mainstream media. He's definitely part of the mainstream. He's got the support of the American government, which means the support of the Jewish supremacists. Why is he so popular? One reason why he's so popular is because he has the support of the international Jews. I mean, the media loves the Dalai Lama. Doesn't mean he's not a good person. Maybe he is a good person. Yes, he's a pretty good guy. I've already explained his Buddhist teachings are a problem. from the Buddhist perspective. They corrupt the Buddhist teachings. But politically, what is the stand of the Dalai Lama? I think the Dalai Lama is a politician. He's a spiritual teacher, yeah, he teaches Tibetan Buddhism, but I regard the Dalai Lama as a politician. Since July of 2014, if you notice from my Brian Root channel on YouTube, I changed my persona. You know, what my life is about is challenging Jewish supremacy in the world, telling the truth about Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany. So this is what I'm into now. So now I can afford to offend my Buddhist friends. I can afford to tell the truth about Buddhism, which I chose not to say before, just to cover my own ass professionally and not to offend my own people. On one of my videos a few years ago on a Buddhist history, I wrote the title, "What is Wrong with the Dalai Lama?" It was a Buddhist history video, I never mentioned Dalai Lama at all. So then a few days, people left these comments saying, "This is extremely offensive to the Dalai Lama." So I wrote back, "Extremely? I call this extremely? I'm just telling the truth about Buddhist history, about the truth about Mahayana Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, the Vajrayana. I call this extremely." So it just shows you how defensive people are of the Dalai Lama. He's so revered. So I canceled that title because on YouTube you just change the title to something else. I call it like "Problems Within Mahayana Buddhism" or something like that. But you know, that was an indication. So this is Kuan Yin here, this golden statue. This is the Mahayana deity of compassion. Again, it's a deity that doesn't exist. It's not something in Buddhist teachings. You can refer to my other videos like "What is Wrong with Buddhism?" But it's a representation of compassion. It's quite a beautiful golden statue they made here. Take a look. There's a movie about the Dalai Lama's life you can see called Kundan. And they have a scene where this actor looks just like Chairman Mao. And the Dalai Lama met with Chairman Mao in the early 1950s, like around 1953, 1955. He'd go to Peking, have private audiences with Chairman Mao. And the Dalai Lama said, Chairman Mao's real greatness came when we were alone together. So the Dalai Lama is paying his respects to Chairman Mao. Quite a powerful figure. And towards the end of their relationship, Chairman Mao is basically saying, he said to the Dalai Lama, religion, it saps people's wills. It deludes their minds, it saps people's will. So the Dalai Lama's world was just falling apart, getting crushed. So, you know, the Chairman Mao was saying basically he didn't approve of Tibetan Buddhism. Then later on there's a more severe crackdown in Tibet, and then of course later the Cultural Revolution. So the Dalai Lama was getting perhaps a bit enamored with communism. He was getting maybe a bit convinced by Chairman Mao that maybe communism could bring some economic gain to the Tibetan peoples, could actually help the Tibetan peoples. The Dalai Lama felt, well, maybe this is true. So he was going along with it for a while. Then, of course, 1959, relationship deteriorated, and the Dalai Lama fled Tibet. One of the biggest financial supporters of the Dalai Lama since the 1950s has been the CIA. So why would the American Central Intelligence Agency donate millions of dollars to the Dalai Lama? Well, the reason is because they were opposed to Communist China. So Tibet was taken over by Communist China since 1950. So obviously the Americans are opposed to communism. So they supported the Dalai Lama. So the Dalai Lama was in exile. And the CIA actually trained Tibetans in Colorado to go back into Tibet to fight against the Chinese. Many did, but they're all killed, as far as I know. So, is this? Am I criticizing the Dalai Lama for taking millions of dollars from the CIA? Well, no. If I was in the same position as him, I would be happy to take millions of dollars from the CIA myself. So I'm not criticizing him for that. I'm just saying, as Miguel Sereno says, the Dalai Lama is a prisoner of the globalists and a tool of the international Jews. Because the international Jews control both sides. They control the United States capitalism. They also control communism. Chairman Mao himself was brought to power with the help of the Rothschilds. You can see a photograph of Chairman Mao in 1949, shortly after he came to power, with a Rothschild representative. So since the Jews created communism in the first place, they were instrumental in bringing Chairman Mao to power. So the Jews are playing both sides. So the international Jewish supremacists control the capitalist side and the communist side. This is the paradigm shift. You have to understand this. You can research this. There's thousands of links on Google. You just look for like Russian Revolution 1917 Jews, you'll find the truth. So the Dalai Lama, he's part of this game. He's caught up with the national Jewish supremacists.
So I found this video on BitChute. I fast forwarded to 8 times the speed, so you can pause and read and whatever at your own time. But I just essentially wanted to put this in here because it's just all these photos of Dalai Lama with all these famous people all over the world. And we know most of these politicians, most of these Hollywood actors, actresses, musicians, some of the athletes, they've sold their soul. They are working for the enemy. They're working for Satan. They're working for the devil. And the Dalai Lama is hanging out with these people. He's pushing the hokey pokey. He's pushing the jab. He's had that inappropriate behavior in front of public, in front of cameras, to act that way with a little boy. Imagine what he does behind closed doors. Y'all, all of this is red flags. Him pushing the jab, the way he interacted with that little boy, him hanging out with all these people, most of them have admitted to selling their soul to the devil. Big red flags, y'all.
More than 6,000 monasteries and places of worship are said to have been looted, desecrated and destroyed in what the Chinese call the peaceful liberation of Tibet. Within the last few years, the Chinese have dramatically increased political arrests and prison labor.
This is another video I found on BitChute, but as far as I know, apparently there's also, like, along with the Dalai Lama, there's another individual in Tibetan Buddhism that essentially this individual is the one to find the Dalai Lama. So once the Dalai Lama dies and in the process of reincarnating into a new body, this individual right here has the responsibility, or maybe the gift, of finding where the Dalai Lama reincarnated. And so that's kind of what this video is showing, that this little boy that has this ability was kidnapped.
God, Krishna, Christ, Guru. God, Krishna, Christ, Guru. God, Krishna, Christ, Guru. God, Krishna, Christ, Guru. I surrender to thee. I surrender to thee. I surrender to thee. I surrender to thee. God, Krishna, Christ, Gurus. God, Krishna, Christ, Gurus. God,